catch by Carlos Quentin. Defended their way to 3 straight wins versus the Angels, and today a chance for Johnny Danks and crew to finish this 4-game sweep with a Southside sweep. It's White Sox baseball coming your way. From the beautiful city, Chicago, Illinois, Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Alex Rios, A.J. Pierzynski and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Torrey Hunter and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this 4-game set. As you know, the Sox have taken the first 3. They won the opener 9-2 behind Gavin Floyd. He was just awesome. Then they won 4-1. Tony Pena picking up the win in Game 2. Of course, we lost Jake Peavy in that one. Then last night, Freddie Garcia picked up his 9th victory. Sox won it 5-2. 2 unearned runs for the Halos. So the Sox trying for the sweep today with Johnny Danks.
John Danks going to the mound. He's hoping for a little better defense because yesterday the Sox committed 5 errors. When you win a game like that, you consider yourself on a roll, and that's exactly what the Sox are, looking for their 5th win in a row. John Danks is 7-7. He's lost the last 2 times out, but hasn't thrown all that badly. This is a guy that probably will get you deep in the game, and hopefully John Danks will have the kind of luck that he had early in the season when he wasn't giving up anything. Irvin Santana goes to the mound for the Angels, and he's 8-6. His ERA, like John Danks, in the high 3s, and he's a guy that you can get to and probably rattle a little early because of his control. Now, Sox are trying to do something today they haven't done since 1983, and that's sweep the Angels in a 4-game series. They did it here, and they did it in Anaheim in '83, but it's been a long time. Let's get it today.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Gorgeous day for baseball. There's this bright yellow object in the sky we haven't seen in a while, so we're going to take this opportunity to tell you to vote for Paul Konerko to send him to the All-Star game. You have until 3 o'clock today, and you can vote for Paulie at MLB.com or WhiteSox.com. That's for the final spot, sending Paul Konerko to Hollywood. Hopefully you'll do that and do it liberally as we come down to the last stages of the selection process. Take a look at how the Angels are going to line up. And the Angels are 5.5 games in back of the Texas Rangers. Eric Ibar to lead it off. Then it's Willits. Kendrick at second. Torrey Hunter the DH today with Napoli, Rivera, Franzen, Mathis, and Corey Aldridge playing right field and hitting ninth. The defense and how they're going to line up behind John Danks. Left to right, Pierre Rios and Jones. In the infield, Vizquel, Ramirez, Beckham, and Kotze at first. A.J. Pierzynski behind the plate. And the Toyota starting pitcher is John Danks. John, an even 7-7, his ERA in the mid-3s. Pretty impressive strikeout to walk ratio. As you can see, right-handers have more problems with him than left-handers. But John, the key is keeping the changeup down. If he keeps it down and away to the right-handers, it sets up that cutter inside, and he can be truly effective. The Sox come in one game in back of Detroit, and the weather today, 81 degrees with 69% humidity, winds out of the northwest, 8 to 12 miles an hour, so they are a factor today, and it is partly sunny. The umpires, Bill Miller behind the plate, Mike Riley at first, Chad Fairchild is at second, and it's Eric Cooper manning the duties at third base. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. We're ready to play baseball and extended that winning streak to 5 games. And I'll turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Stone Pony, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the finale of this 4-game set. Eric Ibar, switch-hitting shortstop, gets set to lead it off against our 25-year-old southpaw, Johnny Danks. Vizquel at the cut of the grass at third, and the first pitch of the ball game is fastball upstairs. Ibar comes in at 282, a couple of homers. He's driven in 15.
He's a switch hitter who's better, much better from the right side.
And he's 3 for 11 in this series. And that ball hit hard into left field. Juan Pierre is there. So 1 out. Angels come in at 46 and 41, 5.5 games back of the Texas Rangers, the tough Texas Rangers. Make no mistake about it, that is a good ball club. Probably the scariest lineup, certainly in the American League.
And if you catch them at home, where they're 31 and 15, they're especially tough. They're a 500 team on the road. We took 2 of 3 from them in Texas, and that was a pretty good trick.
Well, starting off with Elvis Andrus, and all the way down.
There's not a breather in that lineup.
No. And that young Justin Smoke, once he gets on track from the right side, he's going to be a heck of a hitter. Here's the 2-0 to Reggie Willits, another switch hitter.
And he also is a better hitter from the right side. That's probably one of the reasons why they're spelling Torrey Hunter. It is a humid day today.
And the count 2-2. Angels come in hitting at 257 as a club with a 4.39 ERA. Angels 22 and 21 on the road, 24 and 20 at home. Upstairs, full count.
There's a look at the hottest hitter on this team, Howie Kendrick, who's had a terrific series.
And another souvenir right side. That ball hit hard into left center field. Can of corn for Alex. So 2 down. And here at beautiful US Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center. And we need you. We need you on that computer. WhiteSox.com or MLB.com to vote for Paul Konerko. And the reason being because he deserves to be there. There is no question about that. No first baseman in this league has played. They may have tied him, but nobody has played better defense than Konerko has. Plus, Those 20 home runs, 60 RBIs. Has the count 1-2 to Kendrick, who is 6 for 10 with a couple of RBIs in this series. And that's the shank. Sorry, Stoney. Shank. It's been so long since you played.
Yeah. For me, I thought you were talking about a lamb.
He gone. Yes, upstairs, 1, 2, 3. After a half inning of play, it's the Halos nothing and the good guys coming to bat.
Pierre, Vizquel, and Rios. Then Paul Konerko, the DH today, with Kotze, Pierzynski, Jones, Ramirez, and Gordon Beckham playing second and hitting ninth. The defense and how they'll line up behind Irvin Santana. Left to right is Rivera, Willits, and Aldridge in the infield. Franzen, Ibar, Kendrick, and Napoli at first. Mathis behind the plate. And the Toyota starting pitcher is Irvin Santana, making his 18th start. ERA just under 4. Very good strikeout to walk ratio, and as you can see, left-handers do punish him, and there's a few in the lineup to face him today.
And before we show you our picks to click you at home, select yours. First pitch strike, Juan Pierre from the 27-year-old, 6'2", 185-pound right-hander, Irvin Santana, out of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. And very quickly, the count 0-2.
Santana's two best years were in 06 and 08. He won 16 in each of them.
And that hit him. He was not trying to do that. That's the 8th batter he has plunked this year. So good speed aboard. One with 32 stolen bases.
Mathis is very quick behind the plate.
It is tough to pitch inside today. You got guys that they hit themselves. They don't move.
Standing right on top of the plate. A lot of them with a padded up arm. And they don't care if they take the ball off the padding most of the time.
Here's Omar. Takes a crisp fastball. It says 92, but it looks to be a little quicker than that.
Well, he's got good command with it, and it has some late movement, and that's a pretty good combination.
Pitch out, 0-0. Well, as a rule, we told you about the splits on right-handers, left-handers versus right-handed, left-handed pitchers. In this case, left-handers hitting 274, right-handers hitting at 250. They'll tell you he doesn't use his changeup that much. When it's the reverse of that, that'll tell you he's got a pretty good changeup and he uses it.
Well, he's 16 games over 500 lifetime, and those are pretty impressive numbers. And against the Sox, he's been pretty tough, 4-2, but the ERA up there.
Well, he's got good stuff. It's just that simple. When he's on, he is tough. That ball poked out into left field. Rivera. There's just going to give him a little token deep there, so that's out number 1. One down to our center fielder, Alex Rios. Alex hitting at .302, 14 homers, 47 knocked in.
Rios has just 1 error all year. Paul Konerko at first has just 1 error all year. And it's been really the defense that's led the way for the starting pitchers to enjoy this resurgence, as the Sox are playing the best ball in baseball and have for the better part of the last month.
And that's off the corner.
Alex has enjoyed facing Santana in the past.
And there's a shot. That's a base hit. Juan's going to make the turn. Rivera with the throw. Safe.
That's the second time that they've done that. It's the same time Juan Rivera has made a play that has to make Mike Scioscia boil in the dugout. Your odds of getting Pierre as fast as he is when you're heading to the left field line are very slim at third base. He tried it last night, didn't get it done. But the most important part of this, with 1 out in the inning, you take the double play out of the equation. You're going to have to play the infield back. It should cost you at least 1 run. And Juan was in very much ahead of that throw. But the trailer, a heads-up play by Rios, he's standing at second base.
Well, it's just not the Angels. It's most clubs. And that is so true. Twice in the space of 12 hours.
Done the same thing, and it cost him.
Paulie checks it up, takes ball 1. Paulie hitting at .298, 20 homers. He's driven in 60. 4 for 12 with 3 big RBIs in this series. Had 2 big ones last night. And lifetime against Santana's had some trouble. 4 for 22. And the 4 hits, all of them have stayed in the park. That's going to get the job done. Willits over, makes the catch. So Juan will tag. He will score on the sacrifice fly by Paul Konerko. And the Sox lead it 1-0. All right. And all you got to do to be a part of our Picks to Click is tune into the Felco pregame live each game to see Ozzy's lineup, then make your choice. And today, White Sox fans watching have voted for Paul Konerko. Jim Angio, our director, and the crew are taking A.J. Pierzynski. Stone Pony's going with Ebraxe Ramirez. And Mark McDonald and all the good folks down at the LaSalle Grill in South Bend, Indiana, and I, we're going to go with Andrew Jones, as here is Kotsay. Don't stop now, boys. Marks hit Santana well. 24 bats, 10 hits. And the count 1-1. So the 0-2 hit batsman. Juan Pierre comes around and scores.
It was a good play by Mathis. He showed you some quickness to his right. Was able to shift weight and make sure that ball didn't get by him. Nice play by Reggie Willits in center field as he ran down that ball in deep left center off the bat of Paul Konerko.
There's the strike. Well, the thing I like about what's happening is this year, even when we were going bad, was the fact that even though we weren't catching the baseball, which you got to do to win in the big leagues, is that we're going from first to third. We're taking the extra base. We're tagging up on fly balls, something we haven't seen in a long time.
Well, we've got some speed up and down in the lineup, and that's something that Ozzie has wanted for a long time.
It puts the pressure on the opposition.
Well, you also have, if you look at the lineup, you've got Pierre, Vizquel, and Rios. All can run. Obviously, Omar not quite as fast as he once was, but they still are guys who you can do things with. Then you move to the bottom, you got Jones, Ramirez, and Beckham. Again, not the fastest guys, although Ramirez runs well, but Jones and Beckham, you can do something with them.
Beckham runs well.
Yes, and that's something that hasn't happened in the Sox lineup in a long time.
Pick him up right here, Mark. 2 out in the 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it. AJ on deck. And we finally get the game started on time. Yes.
And it's very bright, which is a really good thing. We haven't seen the sun very much. I feel like Mole Man.
Got him on the outside corner. Nice pitch he made on him. But the Sox get on the board. RBI sacrifice fly by Paul Konerko. And after one, it is 1-0 Sox.
Start the All-Star game for the American League. A, Andy Pettit. B, Cliff Lee. C, David Price. D, John Lester. E, Phil Hughes. Text A, B, C, D, or E to 53695. Stick around for the U.S. Cellular White Sox postgame live for the final results, or you can visit csnchicago.com. And folks, you can't go wrong with any of those guys.
First pitch strike to Torrey Hunter leading off here in the top of the second. Hunter hitting at .304, 14 homers. He's driven in 60. Change up, get it down, Johnny. When Johnny gets the change up down, he wins. When he keeps it up, he loses.
If you keep the ball away from Hunter, you got to be ready to get it hit right back at him, because he's been going back through the middle the majority of this series.
He's 6 for 10 in this series and 7 for 24 lifetime against Banks with a homer. And boy, was it ever nice to see him make an error in the opening game. Dropped a routine fly ball. Had a little ways to go for it, coming straight in. First error of the season as that's popped up. Beckham's got him. And that's out number one. But when you see, as I mentioned, I saw Vizquel drop a routine pop-up in Cleveland. Saw Paul Blair drop a routine fly ball. And you see those great defenders drop it, you sort of smile.
Well, it lets you know how the other half lives. The guys that catch about 70% of it.
You're sitting next to one. So here's Napoli, Mike. Hitting at .256, 14 homers, 37 driven in, takes a breaking ball strike.
Johnny Danks looks like he's got pretty good stuff today. Napoli is in at first base, trying to make up the power difference. And they use Kendry Morales for probably the entire season. That takes maybe 35 home runs, 115 runs driven in out of your lineup, and it's hard to replace those.
Well, Kendry Morales, best hitter in that lineup. He's the best hitter in that lineup.
And he was just starting from the right side to really hit for power. He had been a left-handed presence power-wise. But unfortunately, in that celebration at the plate, he jumped on the plate and broke his leg.
That's foul right side to count 2-2. Later on tonight, Minnesota taking on Toronto up at the Rogers Center.
Minnesota's had their problems, losers of 6 of their last 10.
He gone. Change up, nice. Good movement when he gets it down.
We set him up with a fastball in and wiped him out with a changeup away. Had Napoli swinging at the motion as opposed to the baseball.
And a reminder, you can enjoy a day here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field with family and friends. Individual tickets for the Sox are on sale right now. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Juan Rivera takes strike one. And the count 0-2. Another action will show Baltimore down at Rangers Ballpark at Arlington. Cubs taking on the Dodgers in L.A. Yankees at Seattle. That fastball high and wide. Outfield straight up. Not equidistant. Normal set. Soft line drive. And that'll do it. So that is 6 up, 6 down for Johnny Danks. See, we need to get Hollywood and Hollywood right there, Stone Pony.
The way to do that is use your computer and go to MLB.com or WhiteSox.com and vote to send Paulie to Anaheim for the All-Star Game. The voting ends at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so you still have some time.
So here's A.J. Well, of the top 9 home run hitters, which Paulie is 4th. 7 of the 9 are in the All-Star game. 2 are not, and Paulie's one of the 2. Of the top 10 RBI guys, there's a flipper base hit into left field. So the leadoff man aboard. But of the top 10 home run RBI guys, Paulie is 6th. And of the 10, 8 of them are in their All-Star game. Paulie is one of the 2 that is not. So something's wrong with that picture. Plus, as I mentioned, there is nobody who's played better defense at first base than Paul Konerko.
A.J. breaks an 0 for 14 skid, and a promising way to start the second inning. So for 2 innings in a row, the leadoff hitter has been on.
Andrews sitting on 399 home runs, tied with the great Al Kaline for the Tigers and Andres Galarraga.
Andrew would probably prefer one of those hanging sliders that Santana occasionally flips up there. He's given up 15 home runs this year in 114 innings.
He just reached back through that one, might buy him at 95.
Yeah, I don't think he wants the face-high fastball because you're not going to be able to catch up to it there. Mathis looks over in the dugout.
Well, he could, but not with that swing. When that shoulder goes down, as he gets him, 1 out.
Well, he spent the whole at bat looking for a breaking ball, and that's why he's taken the long, slow walk back.
The Bertucci boys. What's up, Bobby?
Bobby, how are you today?
We're all right. Bertucci boys are in the house.
Very nice and stylish White Sox shirt.
Always,
Very
always.
nice.
So here's Alexei. Hitting at 280. 8 homers he's driven in 33. Alexei's been playing some baseball. He's been throwing the leather and swinging the lumber. That ball hit into center field. That's a can of corn for Willits. But it certainly is no coincidence that Alexei's been playing the best shortstop since he's been in a White Sox uniform. And Omar Vizquel happens to be just about 40, 50 feet away.
I think that was really a security blanket for Alexei because he's played shortstop as well as anybody has, and this is the best in his now 3rd year in the major leagues that he's ever had over a prolonged period of time.
Here's Beckham. Gordon 1 for 3 last night, but had 2 really strong at bats. 2 bullets.
Santana really starting to hone in on that outside corner. Bill Miller will give him that if he stays there, and if he does stay there, he's going to be tough for the right-handers to handle.
There's a chopper, 2 hopper, and that'll retire the side. Nothing in cross. We'll go to the 3rd. It is 1-0 White Sox. Game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Kevin Franson, Jeff Mathis, and Corey Aldridge here in the top of the 3rd inning. Danks has retired the first 6 he has seen. First pitch fastball strike. Franson 0 for 8 in the series. Comes in hitting at .315, and he is a tough man to strike out.
John's been able to spot his fastball, and he's pitching off the fastball today. If he can throw strikes with that, then it just sets up his cutter in and the changeup away.
Close, didn't get it. Cranston has struck out just one time over his last 100 plate appearances. Omar, long peg, 1 out.
Omar knows he doesn't have the arm that he used to have, and so he makes up for it by, number one, knowing just how fast the base runner is in the case of Franzen, not awfully fast, and two, just getting rid of it as quickly as he possibly can.
Here's Jeff Mathis. Breaking ball strike. He's hitting .256, couple homers, and driven in 7. Lifetime 2 for 9 against Danks. One of those hits left the premises. Watch out. Right below us.
Mike Social will take all of the offense he can get from his catchers, but he told me that the first priority for his catchers are to make the pitcher comfortable, to catch the baseball, to frame it very well, to move on the corners on pitches and understand the pitcher's abilities. Not just his best pitch, but his abilities. Good fastball up and out of the zone. If you get a hit ahead of hitters, that one is just too inviting to lay off.
Well, we touched on it the last couple of days. Down in Texas with that lineup, they scored 3 runs in the first game. They scored 3 runs in the second game. They scored 3 runs in the third. Okay? Angels come in here. As Aldridge takes a strike. They scored 2 runs in the first game, 1 run in the second game, and 2 unearned runs last night. That will tell you 2 things. The pitchers are making their pitches, and the catchers are putting down the numbers. Between AJ and Ramon Castro, they have done a terrific job in putting numbers down. They kept those Texas hitters off balance.
You don't see many of the White Sox pitchers shaking off either catcher when AJ's in there, or the man you're looking at, Ramon Castro.
Two and two to Aldridge. That's one of the most important things in today's game. That's off the end of the bat. That ball had a lot of spin off the heel, or the thumb, I should say, of Omar's glove.
You'll take a look at how that one is ruled. It's ruled E5, so for the second time in less than 24 hours, Omar has made an error. And that's like man bites dog.
So here's Ibar. Lined out to Juan Pierre. But overall, putting down the right numbers and calling the right kind of game is almost a lost art in the big leagues.
You have a lot of guys that will call 90% of the pitches from the bench. So that takes all the thought process out for the catchers.
Yeah, and you know what it does? It ruins the rhythm of the game as well. You get a catcher back there who, like an AJ, like a Ramon Castro, and they start putting those numbers down, and the pitcher, they form a tandem at that point. As that's foul back. AJ, yes, holds on to it. Nice play. And that'll retire the side. Nothing across. No hits. There was an error, 1 left after 2.5. 1-0 good guys.
in the dugout. That's Ramon Castro, and that's, of course, the fine pitching coach Don Cooper, who has no idea that that's on his head. Now he found it, and he wants to know the culprit.
Juan Pierre fakes the bunt, takes the ball, one in the bottom of the first inning, had an 0-2 count. Santana tried to come inside, got in there a little too deep, hit him, and one eventually scored. That's the only run of the ball game. 1-2-1 for us. No runs, no hits, no errors for them. And he's got the catbird seat at 2-0.
Juan doesn't walk a whole lot, just 23 times and 324 at bats.
There's a strike.
But he's also one of the toughest guys in all of baseball on a yearly basis to strike out. Only 25 strikeouts.
Branson well in on the grass at third. That ball hit into back center field. Willits is there. Boy, what a nice catch A.J. made right there to end the top of the third.
It's our Home Depot doing more on defense. It's an attempted bunt. A.J. has to recognize where it is and then go back and get it. Bobbles it, but secures it, and that ends the inning. So that's a Home Depot doing more on defense. A fine play by A.J. Pierzynski.
Plus another factor coming in as far as Gabby Hartman. God rest his soul, Hall of Fame catcher. He used to love to play golf and talk baseball with Gabby, and he said the first responsibility of a catcher is getting his pitcher in a rhythm and keeping him there. And when you're having to look over the bench all the time and you're having to wait for the sign, it disrupts that rhythm. It's harder, I should say, to get your pitcher in a rhythm. And besides A.J. and Ramon Castro keeping our guys in a rhythm, they have also been terrific at blocking balls in the dirt, which, as you know, being a breaking ball pitcher, Stoney, gives you a lot more confidence.
Well, it gives you supreme confidence if you have a man at third base 90 feet away and he happens to represent the tying or go-ahead run.
There's ball four. You know, I love to listen to Michael Jordan talk in the postgame about the rhythm of the ball club. The rhythm. We found our rhythm. We're in our rhythm. I found my rhythm. Everything in sports is a rhythm. Here's Rios, who doubled back in the first inning. Outfield about equidistant. They're deep, spread out, swung slightly to the left. And there's a shot. That's a base hit. Omar will make the turn. Alex will take a big turn, pull it up, so one out, runners at the corners. Rios, 2 for 2.
And a big aggressive turn by Alex, which is what you want to do. Think about a double until they force you to pull up. This is a fastball on the outside corner. And Willits gets to the ball quickly enough. You watch Alex. He's out of the box thinking 2. Skell's going to make it easily to third base. There's the aggressive turn and the big turn until the ball gets back in.
So here's Paulie. Picked up his 61st RBI with that sacrifice fly in the first inning. Takes a fastball right there at 95. Kotsay on deck. Alex, 22 stolen bases in 30 attempts. Bit of a gap out there in right center. Branson off the line, well off the line, halfway at third. They're going to go to second. He knew who was running, and they turned the double play, so Vizquel can't score. And we'll go to the fourth. It is still a 1-0 Sox lead.
Buy the fourth meal from Taco Bell. Open 1 a.m. or later.
First pitch strike to Reggie Willits, faking the bunt, taking the strike, leading off here in the fourth. Has a little flair, piece of cake. 1 out. And a reminder, you can enjoy postgame fireworks presented by St. Xavier University tomorrow. White Sox versus the Royals at 7:10 p.m. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Son usually has very good control. He came in walking only 37 and now 106 innings. But today the control's a little better than normal. He's hitting every spot he's tried to hit.
That fastball high and wide. Kendrick struck out, swinging on a high fastball. That ball hit hard, but Alex right there on the track. 2 down.
Far because of the wind, that this park is not quite as lively as it is during the daytime.
Well, here's Torrey Hunter. Torrey had a little soft pop-up to Beckham. Takes that pitch inside. And the count evens at 1.
Good cutter to a guy looking for a fastball, and what he felt was a fastball situation. 1-0.
That's another can of corn. So a nice quick 1-2-3 inning for Johnny Danks. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It is still 1-0.
In the 2005 ALCS between the Sox and these Angels, who was the only Sox reliever to appear in a game? Ponder that for a while, and we will give you the answer later in the game.
4 consecutive complete games in that series. Might be the last time you ever see that. Mark Conce lines it into left field. Rivera is there. 1 pitch, 1 out. Mark now 0 for 2. And a reminder, you can come out to the Chevy Test Drive event in Lot E. Lot E here at U.S. Cellular Field on July 17th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Test drive a Chevy and receive a free pair of White Sox tickets. Quantities are limited to 1 pair of tickets per person. Must be at least 21 years of age with a valid Illinois driver's license. That's pretty good. Here's A.J. Flipped a single into left field his first trip. Goes through that one to even the count as 1.
Well, Santana continues to stay away from A.J. A.J. will have some pretty good swing.
A.J. trying to stay inside that when he does, and that's just a fly ball to left. That's at least it's better than casting the head of his bat like he's been doing. For all you golfers out there, we talked about it the other night. What A.J.'s been doing at the plate is he's been hitting from the top. Here, watch his hands. He tries to keep his hands inside it. There are guys in Cooperstown who did hit from the top, so to speak, and cast the head of the bat. All kinds of different ways to hit a baseball. So here's Andrew. Struck out, called out his first trip. Lays off the breaking ball. He's got the catbird seat. And a reminder, you can organize a group outing of 20 or more guests, purchase a block of tickets, or enhance your outing with one of 6 great party areas. The more tickets you order, the more money you save. So call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Three and 0. Turn him loose right here, Ozzie. Taking all the way.
Well, Santana probably figured he was going to be turned loose at 3-0 because he threw the slider. And you don't do that unless you figure that a home run hitter has a chance to try to hit one.
And that's ball 4.
You know, third base coaches don't get a lot of accolades. The only time you notice them is when they get a guy thrown out at the plate, mostly. I was talking to Jose Mota, a fine broadcaster in Spanish and English for these Angels, and he had Jeff Cox as a manager in the minor leagues, and he said in his entire baseball experience he never learned more baseball from anybody than Jeff Cox taught him in a half a season, which is pretty high praise. Jose Mota has been around for a while.
Andrew wanted to get that Lance Johnson jump right there. Came close.
One thing you have to watch, and now you have to watch it with Napoli when he catches, but especially with Mathis, is a secondary lead, because neither of them mind going behind the base runner. This throw is off the mark. Andrew back easily.
That ball hit deep to left field. Rivera back on the track right in front of it, hauls it in, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 5th. It is still 1-0 White Sox. Tail of the tape, top of the 5th. Big hack by Napoli, who struck out on a good changeup from Johnny Danks. And that's popped up right side. Katsei's got to play. And that's out number 1. And a reminder, you can text Subway to 53695. And if you are the 500th texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway.
The only thing at this point separating John Danks from perfection is a ball that Omar couldn't handle with 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
If you're just tuning in, Sox with a run in the 1st. Sacrifice fly by Paul Konerko, knocking in his 61st RBI. Omar. And that's quickly 2 down. And there's only 1 hour left to vote for that 34th player on the All-Star roster. And we need it for Paulie. Get on those computers. WhiteSox.com or MLB.com.
I'd watch the bunt here from Franzen. Right now Omar is well back at 3rd base, but I think he's got to move in. Because Franzen will bunt on occasion.
Takes first pitch strike. He grounded out to Omar, his first at bat. Very quickly to count 0-2. And after the game, Angels aboard their charter going back out to the West Coast to tee it up against the Oakland A's. Sox, of course, have the Kansas City Royals coming to town for that 3-game series before the All-Star break starting tomorrow night. Mark Burley against Bruce Chin.
Kansas City just swept Seattle in Seattle, something they hadn't done for in the neighborhood of 15 years.
Well, Kansas City can beat you. They play hard, especially against us.
And they can single you to death, and then a couple of bangers in the middle, Guillen and Butler can hurt you.
He gone. That's something that doesn't happen very often. Another 1-2-3 inning for Johnny Danks. We're halfway home, leading 1-0. It's time for Southpaw. right, Gail, thank you very much. As first pitch, foul back by Gordon Beckham here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Gordon hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Takes that slider outside, and the count 1-1. Off the end of the bat. 1 out.
Well, take away that hit batsman in the first inning, and this is a 0-0 game. So Santana's throwing well, but his mound opponent, John Danks, has been close to flawless through 5.
Well, he has been flawless. Just that one error.
And a big goose egg up there on the board. Across the board for the Angels.
Here's one. Stone Pony mentioned 0-2 pitch. Hit him. Something Santana was not trying to do. And the count evens at 1. Both these guys are getting it and throwing strikes.
Well, I think if they're around the plate, Bill Miller is going to be calling strikes.
As well he should. Well, Eric Cooper did a good job last night, as did Mike Riley in the opener, Chad Fairchild. And that's chopped just foul. And you can stop by the Comcast Fundamentals deck at U.S. Cellular Field for the ultimate game day experience. You can visit the Comcast dugout to see official Sox equipment, take photos next to life-size player cutouts, and listen to updates about the Sox pitching staff on Xfinity Voice Dugout Phone, all brought to you by the great folks at Comcast. Into right center field, Corey Aldridge. 2 down. So here is Omar. Gone out to left and walked.
Santana has been property of these Angels from the beginning, way back in 2001.
I remember the worst outing he's had against us was he was just coming off the DL. It's either his first or his second start. A year or two ago, whenever. Anyway, didn't have as good command. He was basically 2-0-3-1 pitcher that game, and we got to him pretty good. Outside of that, I'll tell you, he's been tough against us. He's a good pitcher.
He's got very good stuff and has from the beginning.
And that's an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 6th. Jeff Mathis, Corey Aldridge, and then back to the top of the order, Eric Ibar to face Johnny Danks here in the top of the 6th inning. It's pitch strike, and I want to thank this crew for giving us our allotted time. Some do, some don't. As that's out of play. Mathis struck out swinging on a good Johnny Danks fastball.
John's been strike one at least, and sometimes 0-2 to just about each and every one of these Angels hitters, and that's set up this performance.
Alexei on the short hop. Nice. Made it look easy.
Johnny Danks has 4 strikeouts, and he's done it every which way. That way the high cutter, that one the changeup, that one the high fastball, and another fastball away that Franzen tipped into the glove. So no walks, 4 strikeouts, and no hits to this point for John Danks.
Here's the only guy to reach base, Corey Aldridge, and he hit one right off the end of the bat, had a lot of spin on it, hit the thumb of the glove of Omar. Kicked away for the error.
You have to watch playing too deep on Aldridge because he does have very good speed.
And the 1-1 pitch. $27,737. We would have had some huge crowds for this series, except for the weather. At 38,000 plus in the opener. And he gone. 2 down.
This time he was that cutter or slider away from Aldridge, who couldn't check his swing, and Bill Miller didn't need the appellate process. He just rang him up himself.
But the weather for game 2 and 3 was just sucked. That's all you can say. We had 2.5 inches of rain on this field in the last 48 hours. Of course, that's not a problem. This is the best draining field in all of sports.
You know, it rained continually this morning. And then about 11 o'clock, as Roger said, it cleared off. Sunshine, now beautiful.
There's this guy. Well, on game 2 on Tuesday, we had a 1 hour, 41-minute rain delay before we started. Then last night, we had a 2 hour, 20-minute rain delay. And that just killed the walk-up, or we would have had some huge crowds. 2-1 to Ibar, who was lined out to left and fouled out to AJ, who made a real good catch on him. 3-1.
In the absence of Miseris Torres, who should be back in the lineup probably after the All-Star break sometime, Ibar's had to play every day, and they don't have their real good swingman.
There's the guy. Well, Ibar is a good player. They have some good players here, but this is not the same Angel team we've been looking at for the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, they lost a whole lot over the winter.
That's lined in the left. One is there. And another 1-2-3 inning. That's the 5th 1-2-3 inning here in 6 for Johnny Danks.
question in the 2005 ALCS between the Sox and the Angels. Who was the only Sox reliever to appear in a game? And the answer, Neil Kotz in Game 1.
We lost that game 3-2. It's the only game we lost in the playoffs, the postseason that year. Swept everybody else. Swept Boston, swept Houston. 11-1 to win the World Championship. High pop-up right side, so Alex, who had smoked 2 for a double and a single, is now 2 for 3.
The man who's driven in the only run of the game is set to come to bat.
So here's Paulie. Knocked in the only run of this ball game in the first inning for his 61st RBI. Big, lanky Irvin Santana. Misses with that one, 1-0. There's a little slider strike. And good take right there. 2-1. And we mentioned tomorrow night, Mark Burley against Bruce Chen in the first of that 3-game set with the Royals. In that series, we're going to run Burley, Floyd, and to be announced, it'll hopefully be Dan Hudson. In that start on Sunday against Chen, Bannister, and Greinke.
Well, we did face Greinke down in Kansas City, and he had a 7-1 lead in the 8th inning. They wound up clinging by their fingertips to a 7-6 win, as Greinke did go 8 innings, but he wound up giving up the 6 runs.
And that has popped up right side. Kendrick. So 2 down to Kotsay. Mark is 0 for 2 last time, lined hard to left field. Top of the 4th at Miller Park. Giants shutting out the Brew Crew 3-0. St. Louis did not score in the top of the 1st. Out in Denver. At long, Minnesota at Toronto. That's off the outside corner. And the count 1-2.
St. Louis's big problem has not been scoring. It has been stopping those Rockies from scoring.
So a graphic on MLB. Last 2 games, that bullpen has smoked.
14 runs in 6 innings.
That's in the center field. Nice, easy 1-2-3 inning for Santana. And we are into the 7th with this 1-0 lead. So you can text CHAMPS to B-Hawks. That's 242-957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered into win a Stanley Cup Champion Street banner autographed by members of the Blackhawks team. That's CHAMPS to 242-957.
That's Duncan Keith. Great Blackhawk defenseman. He's at the park today enjoying this one.
What an exciting year. And besides excitement, they were just awesome to watch. The Blackhawks, the Stanley Cup champions. I have a feeling they're going to be there for a while. Willits is 0 for 2. He's gone out to center and popped to second, and that's a base hit. So, cancel the post-game show. First hit given up by Johnny Danks.
I'd like to see AJ go to the mound because taking a no-hitter through 6, when you lose the no-hitter, you still have to get back to concentrating on the fact that it's a 1-0 game. This is a cutter that John tried to get inside. He's done a great job of it all day. That one didn't get inside enough, and Willits able to poke it just by the outstretched glove of Alexei Ramirez. Now you got the middle of the order duo.
Yeah, Willits can run. Howie Kendrick has struck out and gone out deep to center. Takes ball 1.
First time John has really had to go to the slide step. And if he continues to use that, we'll check out the control and see how it works.
Well, it's only 1 for 3 in stolen bases.
Kendrick has grounded into 10 double plays this year, which is not an unusually high amount in 339 at bats.
There's the bunt, and it's going foul. So he'll come back with a 1-1 count. And you can visit the official online shop of the White Sox. You can browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. So get your gear from the official source. Shop at www.whitesox.com. Well, it's just a short lead.
Pay attention to Kendrick because
got to get to him.
The lead that Willits has been taking is not one of a guy who's going to try to steal. And on a hit and run, normally you wait for the pitcher to deliver the baseball.
Fouls that one away. So the count 1-2. You got to get to him. And that changeup got it up, out over the plate. Unfortunately, Kendrick fouled it away. It was so far up and out over, he just couldn't barrel it up. And that's foul down past Alfredo Griffith. First base coach. Dino Weibel, the coach at third. And that is muscled into center field. So got a lot of trouble here right now. First 2 men aboard.
Well, now we talked about someone going out to talk with John Danks. Now AJ is going out to talk with John. Both starters throwing the ball very well. As you can see for John Danks, 6+ innings, 6 innings for Santana. Hits a 3 and 2. Of course, the big category, the 1 run. John hasn't walked anybody. But that lead in very much danger here.
Just off the plate to Torrey Hunter. Torrey 0 for 2. He's popped the second and gone out to center. Right back to him. Take your time. Alexei.
Very job. Very good takeout slide by Kendrick at second base. And Alexei's down. He got a good piece of him trying to break it up. Alexei says he's okay. But this is a clean slide, and this is what you have to do to keep an inning alive. Could easily have been 2. But as you can see, Kendrick got down there in a hurry and took Ramirez up with both feet. He couldn't get anything on the throw.
So here's Mike Napoli. Johnny looking for a strikeout right here. Napoli struck out on a good changeup in the second. And he fouled out to first base in the 5th. Hunter just a short lead. And that's popped up right side. Gordon is there, makes the catch. 2 down. Big out for Danks.
Napoli first pitch hunting. John throws a cutter inside. Napoli can't get his hands out and can't drive home the run. So runners remain at the corners, but now there are 2 outs.
So a big out right here, and Juan Rivera, who is 0 for 2. He looped out to Beckham and grounded out to Omar. Johnny's got him. Nice snap, and he pitches out of it. So the first 2 men get on. They can't score. 7th inning stretch. Sox lead it 1-0. First pitch down low to A.J. Pierzynski, leading off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-3-1 for our guys. 0-2-0 for their guys. Well, we got 28 minutes left to try to get Paul Konerko into the All-Star game. And we understand right now MLB has put out, they say that Nick Swisher has a very narrow lead over Kevin Youkilis. So we've got to get on and vote for Paul. There's a look at the play by Franson. I tell you, AJ, if he didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all.
That play was just fantastic. It was a one-hop rocket, came at him with overspin, and hopped up at the last instant, and Franzen does a 360, and he knows he's got some time. The tough part is completed and throws it across to rob A.J. of his second hit of the day. That was a great effort at third base.
Yeah, that's one of the better plays you want to see right there if you're not A.J. That's outside. A.J. now 1 for 3. Andrew has struck out and he has walked. And he just aces him right on the outside corner. Checks it up on the slider.
You can go to MLB.com or WhiteSox.com, and we're getting down to a precious few minutes. 25 left before voting ends at 3 p.m.
Had him way out in front on that one.
You have to figure as long as they know that Andrew is looking for 400, they're trying to pull just about everything, they're going to stay away from it. They go in, they'll go in off the plate.
So a full count with Alexei on deck. That one at 95, and that's 2 down.
Retired 9 in a row, and so just as good as John Danks has been pitching, almost as good, save for a hit batsman, has Santana been pitching.
Alexei is 0 for 2. Last time went deep to left field, taking Rivera right back in front of the warning track. And the count 2-0 right here. Zone him in, reel him in, and light him up. Alexei. That's a nasty pitch on 2-0.
Santana's had command of that outside corner, both up and down. Each and every right-hand hitter.
Well, that's the reason we only have 1 run. Soft ground ball. Very quick 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the 8th with this slim 1-0 lead. All right, Gail, thank you very much. First pitch lined hard into center field by Kevin Franson. That's a hang whiffle. One pitch, one out here in the top of the 8th inning. Sox on top, 1-0.
No activity whatsoever in the bullpen as John Danks has been in control of everything, and he's limited his pitches to this point to 84, which, getting into the 8th inning, is a very manageable number.
Here's Mathis. He has struck out and then hit a little slow roller that Alexia made a good play to get it. Can't get the fastball. That one at 93. He plans to be with us tomorrow night. First of that 3-game weekend set before the All-Star break with Kansas City. Mark Burley against Bruce Chin. If you can't make it to the ballpark, that game will be right here on Comcast Sportsnet. On Saturday, Gavin Floyd against Brian Bannister. That game will be over WGN. On Sunday, hopefully it'll probably be Daniel Hudson against Zach Greinke, and that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet.
While we're entertaining the Royals, Detroit is taking on the Twins in Detroit.
Two and two the count for the 27-year-old catcher. High pop-up, stay in here. Omar going to run out of room. And a reminder, you can visit participating Chicagoland Great Clip salons for the Great Clip Summer Sweepstakes Code. Now, the grand prize winner will throw out the first pitch on Mullet Night. Mullet Night, Friday, July 30th. Plus, get 4 White Sox game tickets and 4 pregame patio party tickets. The 2-2. High chopper. Yes. Beautiful play by Vizquel.
Omar went up as high as he could possibly go up. Knew he didn't have a whole lot of time because Mathis runs fairly well for a catcher. This one ticketed for left field. Omar has other ideas, gets rid of it, and gets him by a half step. Call by Mike Riley. He got the call right on the money.
I didn't know Omar could sky that much. As Aldrich can't get it, he's 0 for 2. 1-3-1 for us, 0-2 and 0 for them.
Our pitching has been great recently. They've taken the game late almost each and every time. But John Danks today has been absolutely brilliant.
As has our bullpen. And he gone. 1, 2, 3. That's strikeout number 6 for Johnny Danks. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Let's get 1 or 2 more.
question. So here's the results so far, and by a small margin, it's Cliff Lee, or B. There's still time to vote for which pitcher should start the All-Star game for the American League. Again, final results will be on the U.S. Cellular Postgame show, and Cliff Lee currently with Seattle, but with a team to be named very shortly.
First pitch to Gordon Beckham. Tries to bunt it. And the count 0-1. Gordon is hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice, and he is grounded out 5-3.
Pretty good idea when he took a look at Franzen and had him back. Unfortunately, he got a fastball away, which is a very tough one to bunt if you're not thinking about pushing it up the right side.
Just underneath that one. At 92, so 0-2 the count. And that is popped up. Kendrick is there, makes the catch. Out number 1. And a reminder, prorated White Sox season ticket plans are on sale right now. Full season, weekday, and weekend plans offer best seat locations at the lowest prices with the most benefits. So call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
Juan Pierre has been the only man to touch the plate today.
And how did he do that, Stone Pony?
Well, he got in the way of an 0-2 fastball. Then beat a throw to third base and scored a sacrifice fly by Paul Konerko.
And that has been it. So the Angels coming here 5.5 games back of the tough Texas Rangers. Probably the best offense in this league. And that being the case, probably the best offense in all of baseball, even though the Kansas City Royals lead the major leagues in hitting at 283.
Rangers are a little more dangerous across the board.
Yeah.
And the Rangers take on Baltimore tonight. That's Guthrie against Hunter.
Hunter really pitched well against us.
He's 5-0.
Worked both sides of the plate. Change speeds.
5-0 with an ERA under 2.
And there's another souvenir.
There you look at the pitches. They're identical.
Yes, Hunter's stuff was not overpowering, but his pitching was.
He was terrific all night.
Yeah. Ball hit hard. And that is out number 2. Oh, what a job Clint Hurdle's done with those guys down there in Texas. Wow.
Well, the question would be, can you establish some credibility coming in after a hitting coach who's been there 15 years, and that was the case with Rudy Jaramillo. Rudy went to the Cubs. Clint Hurdle, who is a terrific hitting coach, went to Texas.
As Omar fouls it back.
I think a lot of Josh Hamilton this year can be credited with finally buying into Clint Hurdle's idea to do away with the toe tap that he had, and then Hamilton just took off.
Well, Hamilton's got one of the livest bats I've ever seen in 51 years in this game.
He's astonishingly strong, can do just about everything, runs real well.
And he's got some pretty good other casts surrounding him as well, with Vladimir, Kinsler, and one of my favorite players, Michael Young.
And one guy that you can't forget, but a lot of people do, is Nelson Cruz. When you look at his numbers, I know he was hurt a couple of times this year, but numbers for the last couple of years have been really good.
3-1 to Omar. As I said earlier, it's going to be tough for these Angels to catch the Rangers.
That's one of the reasons why they have got to be buyers at the trade deadline. I don't think they can do it as currently constructed. And Texas certainly can't take on any money in the situation they're in.
There's ball 4. Well, they got to get that thing resolved. Everybody in baseball wants Nolan Ryan to get it. And partner Chuck Greenstein of Pittsburgh, I believe.
And I think he probably will get it. I just don't know if he'll get it for the price that they want, because at this point, they haven't been able to conclude that deal out of the bankruptcy court.
Well, Bud Selig will ultimately make that decision. So here's Alex. He's 2 for 3. A double in the first, a bullet single in the third. Alex now with 19 doubles, 1 triple, 14 homers, 48 knocked in.
So Brian Fuente is loosening up in the bullpen.
Way outside.
Fuentes with 15 saves this year. Although they can be nail biters because he is less than overpowering, but deceptive.
There's the strike and the count 1-1. Omar very nonchalant over there at first, like he always is. We talk about Juan Pierre's 491 stolen bases. Omar is not bad. He's got 391. Good check right there. One thing about Santana, he's got that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's got a late breaking curveball and a quick breaking slider.
Well, that slider comes into play when he throws it at the right-hand hitters. They give up on it. It comes back over the inside part of the plate. He would prefer throwing it outside, like most right-handers to right-hand hitters. But occasionally, even when he makes a mistake with it, he'll buckle the knees of the right-hander, and they just wind up taking it.
There goes Omar. Oh, what a quick release by Mathis. Wow. That's just about as good as it gets right there. Beautiful. Beautiful play by the Angel catcher. Meanwhile, we'll go to the ninth. We need 3 outs to get this 1-0 victory. Top of the order. Here in the top of the 9th inning, Johnny Danks with a 1-0 lead.
Nobody at all up in the bullpen, as John has only thrown 93 pitches.
Ibar twice has lined out hard to Juan Pierre, and he's also fouled out to AJ, who made a terrific catch on him.
There's been 11 appearances out of the bullpen in this series to this point. Maybe it's one of the reasons why Ozzie doesn't have anybody up. He's got some tired pensmen down there, especially after Jake went out early and he had to empty the pen to get through that winning effort.
Change up way out in front, and the count 1-2. This is a huge out right here.
Because of the speed of the first two guys in the order, Ibar represents a tremendous threat if he does get on in a one-run game.
13 for 19 in stolen bases. Little chopper, two hopper, one out. Thank you very much. Big out. And once again, just a few minutes left to vote. So go online, WhiteSox.com or MLB.com for Paul Konerko. Voting ends in about 6 minutes. Here's Willits. Picked up the first hit leading off the second inning. Takes first pitch strike. Sox trying to sweep the Angels in a 4-game set for the first time since 1983, when we did it twice.
A long time ago.
Yeah, Sox that year won 99 games after a 14-26 start. There's the strike and the count 1-2. Same start this club got off to. Turns that one over, but we had three guys. Lamar Hoyt, Richard Dawson, and Floyd Bannister went 42-5 in the second half.
We've got Freddie.
Freddie has been our man.
Who doesn't seem to ever want to lose again.
That's outside, full count. Freddie has been our house. He has been our El Caballo.
9-3. Including a big win against these Angels. He's 15-3 against the Angels lifetime.
Payoff. Nice pick. Nice pick by Vizquel. Yes. 2 down. Tough pick. Made it look easy by Omar.
Well, Omar had to come in, and he couldn't exactly smother it, but he tried to play it on the shortest hop he could. And after that, it's easy as he pours it across, and John Danks is 1 out away from a 1-0 shutout.
And he's got the hottest hitter on this ball club at the plate, Howie Kendrick. Breaking ball, no. Keep that rhythm, Johnny. Keep the rhythm. And there's a strike. That at 94. So he's still dealing. And the count 1-2. Stay right there on it. Little high and wide, 2-2. Stay right there on it. It's full with Torrey Hunter on deck. Just got a piece of it.
Well, he went to his comfort pitch, and that was a straight change. And Kendrick just able to stay alive. For John, this is the wipeout pitch. Probably got it up a little higher than he would like. It allowed Kendrick to reach across and just barely touch it.
And another foul down at the plate. Kendrick has been red hot. And this ball game is over. Yes. Johnny Danks. A 2-hit shutout as the Sox sweep the Angels in this 4-game set for the first time since 1983. Stone Pony, what a job.
Well, it shows you the dominance of John Danks. Nobody was ever up in the bullpen. Both Don Cooper and Ozzie Guillen had confidence that John Danks had plenty left in the tank to finish it off. And John Danks proves to be one tough customer. A 1-0 game with pressure every inning, a no-hitter through 6. He gave up singles in the 7th, 2 out, nobody on, pitched his way out of that. And at the end, it's a sweep of the Angels. Here's our Xfinity high-defining moment, and we'll take you back to that 7th inning. First and second, nobody out. And he gets a big pop-up. And a ground ball right back to him. And that ends the inning. And John Danks gets out of it with a shutout intact and ends this one, giving up just those 2 singles.
What a game. And what a sweep. Sox won the opener 9-2 behind Gavin Floyd, 4-1 in Game 2. Tony Pena did a heck of a job. We lost Jake Petey. Then last night, Freddie Garcia, 5-2. But right now, let's go down to our lovely and talented Sarah Kustok.
I'm Sarah Kustok here in front of the White Sox dugout with John Danks, your GMC Player of the Game. John, you take a no-hitter into the 7th inning and throw a complete game shutout. What allowed you to be so effective tonight?
I think it's a mixture of me throwing strikes and then being aggressive. I made a couple pitches I'd like to have back, but these guys did a great job behind me.
Can you describe your mindset out there on the mound when you are in such a rhythm zone like you were today?
Well, it was great. I just had to get the ball and follow AJ's lead. He did a great job back there. My job was to hit him in the glove.
You guys have relied heavily on your bullpen as of late. How critical is it to give them a break today?
Well, it's nice. We've had a couple of guys throw a few games in a row, so it's good to give them a break and we'll have them fresh for the Royals tomorrow.
A 4-game sweep of the Angels hasn't happened here at U.S. Cellular Field since 1983. What does it say about the way that your team is playing right now?
Well, I tell you what, we're playing great baseball right now. It's fun to come out here and play good in front of these fans, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Thanks so much, John. Congratulations.